These songs are not as good as. Wait, hold up. What the F is this? What were we on last night? It's the same. Whatever. I don't even know. There we go. Yeah. Yo. Here. What up, Grandpa Steve? It is about to come on. Hope you guys been all right. What do we want to do here? We'll update this later. Well, what's up, guys? Happy weekend. It's upon us, April 5th. We got a lot of baseball all day long, all day strong. So tonight we're gonna load up the spreadsheet, get the info that we can get, make some early leans, just get the research, open the book, you know what I mean. So I'm actually gonna input the games on the air. Took an old man nap. I don't know what got into Texas today. She decided to be a little bit chilly. And I just, this whole week I've been running on fumes, so it was nice today to somewhat get the sleep back going. Even if it was scattered throughout the day, but I feel like plus minus, I probably added, maybe 12 hours, I don't know. But we gotta do the spreadsheet almost from scratch tonight, so bear with me on that, and we'll get things added. The first thing I need to do, upload some pricing CSV stuff from Fanduel and DraftKings. I'll resort the or I'll re-input the stat update later. Other than that, we're going to be going game by game, getting the names typed in. It's actually kind of good. Get to type everything, get a fresh feel. I think a lot of you guys do know, but the spreadsheet is very heavily manually upkept. I think it's cool to have handcrafted pitcher projections every day, but obviously it's a little bit of a pain in the butt to get it set up for the day, but I don't mind. It is what it is. Make sure we get the so right now what I'm doing is for each slate that the sites post, you enter a contest, you could download the pricing CSV, and this is so that data nerds and sites could extract information, put it wherever they need to put it, and that's what we did there. We are good. What's up, Cujo? What up, Unique? What What up, RC? What up, Casas? Had Yama over Luzardo. Big mistake. Dude, Luzardo's looking good. Dude, that's Schwellenbach. In the projections that we made, dude, he was so far above the rest. And then my model had him at like over 7 strikeouts. But down, and then I go look at the sports books on DraftKings. The 6.5 got bet down to 6. I was like, man, I put it in the Discord. I was like, the money disagrees with the gunny. I'll tell you what. Sure enough, he went out there and shoved. So that's one for the good guys. Early slate, I had a much better read. I don't know if say a better read, but early slate, I read that like a book. Cardinals, Red Sox, and of course the Yankees. Those are 3 teams I like the most, and I saw some positive screenshots in the Discord. I saw Cam put a 3-team over parlay. Good stuff, Cam. And all teams went way over. Looks like we have one game that's going to be on the Fanduel. I guess it's on the all-day slate. But both sites are doing that thing where they offer all kinds of stuff all day. I think DraftKings has been way more convenient for me in their slates. But we got to kind of like serve everything. Let's just type the Pistons. We got White Sox and Tigers going to start the day off. Tigers actually produced some runs yesterday. Where's our boy? He was at opening day, right? Or is he just? He probably had a couple of those $5 brewskis. I don't know. Do teams that suck have expensive concessions? I feel like you just get them in the park, dude. Those are teams that know they're gonna postpone games, but they need money. The Nats from a couple years back. Like, yeah, there's no way this game plays, but they didn't announce it yet. So I get everybody there, pay for parking, buy some beers, and go from there. Ain't no fun when the rabbit has the gun. Yeah, what up, G Money? You got DK 33%, NBA profit boost that expires at midnight in an hour. Glad to find you. Dude, you're in the wrong spot for NBA picks, man. I'm not the one. I'm not the one. I don't even have a pulse on the game, bro. That's kind of my commitment this year, is to just kind of be on the hunt on baseball. Anyway, White Sox Tigers starting the day off. We got Davis Martin taking on Reese Olson. Am I? Yeah, we're not all the way in. We got 6 innings of work from Davis Martin in his opener, 4.2 from Reese Olson. Neither pitcher kind of like blows me away metrically. Reese Olson, if you had to split hairs here, I think it's the better DFS bet. He only had an 8.6% swing and strike rate in that first game. The ERA was out of the water, but the expected ERA to CR, all that stuff kind of looks like maybe a little bit unlucky. Let's see what we're working with as far as individual game results. He had a 4.7 FIP, but a 3.38 xFIP, so maybe some bad defense. 54% ground ball rate. Hard contact rate is kind of elevated, not what you want. But 8% barrel. I think he profiles more. We start trusting more of the analytics dipping back to last season. Double-digit swing and strike rate and a over 20% K rate, about the same K rate as Davis Martin from last year, but without all the extra the elevated whip that we saw with Martin last year, and the 3.64 expected ERA. So again, on the main slate, I'm probably not that intrigued, but single game or something like that, Reese Olson against this lineup above all, with just one player, Andrew Benintendi, offering a above average WRC plus. It's just, we're splitting hairs, but that's where we're going. Olsen is the better pitcher pre-flop, and then offensively, man, good luck. Yikes, it's ugly. Don't have run totals set up yet. 4 or 5. There we go. Now we do. All right, we got a 3-point run total for the White Sox, 4.6 for the Tigers. So Tigers are actually pretty sizably favored. They're minus 222 on the money line. So massive favorite. Actually, that is a massive favorite. Reese Olson, and then I guess we get to some Tigers bets. Ew. Everything about this is just ew. Ugh. All right, maybe we do have to zoom it back down. And that's what we got there. What up, 7? That's a lot of red. That's a lot of red. This is a game that... Ew. Oh, you didn't make it, RC? Indians, go ahead. The Guardians, sir. What are we doing here? 6-4. Damn, we're putting up some runs out there in Anaheim. I think we saw some runs overall today. Look at the scores. The Braves won 10-0. Congrats to them. Boston and St. Louis 13-9. The Athletics ended up putting 6 on the Rockies. The Tigers put up 7. The Mets put up 5. Yankees put up 9. The Giants and Mariners, what was that about? 10-9. So I guess Luis Castillo, Luis S. Castillo, not what you want. Hopefully I don't have to deal with that for a while, or he changes his name. The Royals put up 8. I guess it isn't like super crazy, but a couple of spots. Carry Bonds, carry on my wayward son. All right, moving on to the next game. Now we're jumping on to games that are involved in the slates, particularly the DraftKings, focusing on their first slate, starting with Minnesota. Let's get that buzzed up in here. You guys like baseball all day? Maybe it's just I'm in my head. I didn't feel like it used to be like this. It used to just be a main slate at 6 p.m. and the rest of the day I could budget on IRL and stuff like that. Now it feels like there's stuff all day I gotta keep tabs on, and I don't think I like it. But in a weird way, also I like it. I don't know. But from someone who doesn't have to like keep super tabs on every game for a spreadsheet, do you guys like it? So far, the teams have been pretty good about dropping lineups early enough. I think I need to throw a laptop in the car, in the Jeep, so when I'm on the go. I was trying to update lineups for my phone the other day. That didn't go great. Luckily, my boy Jake had my back. We got Bailey Over taking on Spencer Arrighetti from the Serengeti. The Pounce. 3.7 run total for the Astros. Bailey Over's offense has a run total of 4. Twins are actually favored in here. Arrighetti looked really solid in his opener in terms of advanced metrics, almost a 24% K rate, 12.5% swing and strike rate, essentially picking up where he left off last year. And last year, one of his bugaboos was that elevated whip, a product of an elevated walk rate, particularly to lefties. So if he can keep that going, That's a good sign for the Astros and Spencer. Let's see if I can pull up Spencer's minor league numbers. In the minors, 253.1 innings pitched, 325 strikeouts. That's insane. That's like 75 more strikeouts than innings pitched. So he is a strikeout guy. Is this the guy that had a walk issue? I think we were looking at. And this. .1 innings pitched against lefties, 71 hits, 44 walks. Yeah, that's crazy. This is the guy. Insane walk rate to lefties coming into the show last year. And then going back to 2023, 48.1 with 23 walks. I guess last year just went off the rails against lefties for him. Almost a 1.5 whip. So if he can not walk people at such a high clip, you see he has incredible strikeout stuff. 102 strikeouts against those lefties in 78.1 innings, but the 44 walks is a problem. With that said, Twins are about 4 lefties in a projected. High K rate on Wallner. Larnack is 1-5, 4.5 for Willie Castro, and 30% for Julian. So actually some merit into expecting a good day at the office for, at least in terms of strikeouts, for Aaron Getty. Also, chat the music. Is it good compared to me? Not bleeding. Look at pitcher props for tomorrow. Do not have Aaron Getty yet. It'd be intriguing to see where they put him on that. How many pitches? Wrong one. Okay, I don't know how to type. He went 87 pitches, so it's pretty much off the chain. So let's put some game notes on it. Aaron Getty, great K stuff all coming up. Big walk problem to lefties. And on the opposite side here, Bailey Ober, not a great opening start for him. Pretty much got shelled. You dip back into his stats from last season and hope that's more of what you might get out of him. A 26-27% K rate, incredibly high swing and strike rate, barrel rate, fine, 8%. That's about average, and a 1 whip. So in him is a good pitcher. Obviously, not every pitcher is going to have a great first outing. He did not. I don't love pitching against the Astros no matter what. But yeah, man, 8 hits, 2 bombs, 3 walks. It was a rough day for him. 77 pitches, 19 batters face. I probably need to see it before I don't. But let's give him a little bit of an individual game look. Let's go look at the plate discipline. He only had a 37% first pitch strike. So sometimes you look at a pitcher's 1 game result and we kind of like blame luck, whether it be good or bad. And some of the factors for that is like we look at like xFIP versus FIP. We look at the expected metrics and whether or not just the BABIP, the LOB, stuff like that will kind of tell the story. He had a 545 BABIP, so that's a little unlucky. But what isn't unlucky to me, in my opinion, is that first pitch striker. Great pitchers, 70%. You live with 60. You want 70 plus. first pitch strike being under 40% means, you know, over almost 70%, 65% of his battle started 1-0. And that's not what you want. You don't want to start behind an account. So I can't really pin this one on all the way on bad luck. Yeah. A 7.61 xFIP, so that's bad. Everything's bad. So he didn't look great in those few games, or in those few innings. Take a peek at his spring campaign once again, just to refresh on memory. How are things looking? 20.1 innings pitched in spring, 18 hits. That's kind of high. Kind of not what you want. 2 homers. Both of them came from his first 2 games. 5 walks. Only one game where he had more than 1 walk. The strikeouts were kind of not there in the final 3 games. Started better than he finished. So I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna sit out on Bailey until we can. Let's go see his velo. Oh, Bailey. Or we just don't have that information. Does Savant have that for us right now? Did he expected metrics on his individual pitches? A 1 or 731 expected slug, 342 expected average on that 4-seamer. That's not great. That's not what you want. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm gonna sit out Bailey over until I don't play Bailey over much anyway. But that first game didn't look like a matter of luck, and end of the spring, the strikeouts weren't there, the hits were there. Spin rate on the 4-seamer, 2264 so far this season. Last season, 2303. Yeah, you did your thing, dog. Well, that's gonna be a no for me. So I think you could sell me on a little bit of Eric Getty. Mom's spaghetti. I think both teams I'm kind of leaning more as a substack. Astros, pretty much Jordan Alvarez, Christian Walker, the two I would focus on. You get some Yainer Diaz, cool. You get some Isaac Paredes, cool. Chip in a chair. Over does allow some homers. The target field, it could be chilly considering the month. 38 degrees. Ooh. Let's put possibly high 30s in temp. Not great hitting weather. Not great hitting weather. But target field has allowed home runs. Looks like also possibly some wind. So that's your lefty pole hitters. Wind to right. So you're on Alvarez, maybe. Last year, Bailey over $1.25 home run per 9 to lefties. It just has a home run problem. Big fly ball guy, high hard contact. So you look at your power guys, Alvarez, Christian Walker. So I'll just put interest Alvarez, Walker, and then if I want some twins, I wish there was a power / patient lefty to tap into his historical data. but the Twins just don't have that. So I'm just gonna leave it as is on that one. Yeah. Get caught up on shit. I think Ober's velocity is down. His spring training was down. Could he be hurt? It could be hurt. He could be on the decline. Bailey Ober, age. He's 29, so it's not too bad. Dude, guys, I don't know the average age in this chat. I hate when I start looking at guys. I'm like, oh, that guy's old, and then I look up their age, and I'm older than them, but they're old for baseball. We're pretty much dead. That's crazy. Thoughts on Reese Olson playing the White Sox? Gonna be cold. Yeah, wood chipper. He's my top play from that individual game. So I absolutely like. It's a vomit play, as Blender would say. It's a vomit play, but there's a reason to like him. Last 3 years, aggregate 23.5% K rate. The swing and strike rate wasn't there on this first 4.2 innings, but I think it'll come. And then the White Sox suck, so I'm with that. All right, let's move on. The weather, though, in Minnesota, a little bit scary for betting on offense, but we have seen offense in cold games so far this season, so it's not impossible. I was watching a little bit of the Mets game earlier, and the Mets had broadcasts were really, really, really hinting strongly. Like they kept low key bringing it up that they think the baseballs are juiced again. But they're also like old and senile. But I don't know. It could be. I prefer the juiced baseballs. Juice balls, torpedo bats. Let's have some fun. F it, dude. We're gonna lock out next year, right? We got Cubs and the Padres coming up. Cubs offense has been nice. Obviously, I don't think that team's ready for a deep October run, but I think their offense might be better than the general public's assumption or presumption. If their pitching gets it together, I don't know. We got Matt Boyd taking on Nick Pivetta. 3.5 run total for the Padres. 3.7 for the Cubbies. Looks like high 40s and temps. I don't say anything crazy for wind. Nick Pivetta, going back to the last 2 seasons, a strikeout rate around 30%. The barrel rate's been his bugaboo. Aggregate 10% the last 3 years, about 10% last season. Whip has been good. Last year it allowed an elevated average to righties, 271 average to righties, and a 213 home run per 9. The xFIP a little bit higher, 3.6. But generally, even with all this hard contact in his contact profile, he's fine. So as you see, a sub 4 run total for the Cubs kind of respects that. The swing and strike rate being sub 10% in the opening game in 7 innings, kind of want double digits for DFS purposes. And the strikeouts in the Cubs lineup could offset some of that. We do have some guys like Seiya, like Michael Bush, Dansby Swanson, hold me closer, down a Dansby, Pete Crow Armstrong, aggregate 1 and 4 K rate guys. So I think in the bubble, Nick Pivetta is certainly intriguing. 8,600 on DraftKings. Looking for that shot at 20 fantasy points. I think his offense sucks his offense against lefties is so much worse than you would expect. Like way worse than you would expect. So you can't really hold your breath for the win here, but seems like it could be a little bit of a pitcher's duel. Matt Boyd on the other side, last year pushed a 28% K rate overall with a 14% swing and strike rate, just under 10% swing and strike rate in his first game. A 0 ERA, got a little bit lucky, but 3.27 expected ERA. The whip was a little bit elevated, but those numbers can get funky with 1 game sample sizes. So I get it. I don't think this, even though the Padres, you isolate their splits against lefties, a surprisingly low amount of ISO and OPS. They still don't offer like a ton of strikeouts in and of themselves. So like I don't know what kind of ceiling would be pushing for in a Boyd start, but I certainly think he's justifiable in terms of a real life spot. You're facing a team with a 3.5 run total over 9, and you're decent. So I think we put both pitchers in the blender here, and we would cherry pick who could be the problem. Manny Machado is the guy for the Padres against lefties if I had to go anywhere. But I also don't think I'm the only one that knows that. So maybe they pitch carefully to him. Inversely, Nick Pivetta, if we got to pick on him, look for some power. 134 home run per 9 last year to lefties, 2 to righties. Left up some more to lefties in the year prior, while the batted ball data was pretty similar. I guess he dropped 8%, 7% line drive rate. So Kyle Tucker, the usuals. Kyle Tucker and Seiya Suzuki, the two we'd be trying to look for to maybe take advantage of that. So let's go Tucker, Suzuki, and then like Machado if we had to, right? Not really feeling the full send stack. What up, Lone Wolf? What up, Tall? Hernandez is always crazy. Yeah, Hernandez feels like everyone's drunk uncle that says slightly inappropriate. Doesn't cross the line too much to where you like just stop dinner and kick him out. But he just be yapping. Just be, yeah. You see, actually, I think I can play this. Just kind of a microcosm of what we're. Matter of fact, his own like station put it up. Just listen. Basically, so what you're gonna hear is Soto stole a base on the pitcher, Rodriguez, and the play-by-play is like, oh, they're running all over this pitcher. They say his name, and he goes, they're running on the pitcher too.
You're a goner. Soto takes off first pitch. The throw by Kirk is not in time, and Soto's got his first stolen base of the year. So they're running wild on Yariel Rodriguez.
They're running wild on this pitcher as well.
That is the pitch.
Oh, sorry.
Oh. Come on, man. Pay attention. What are we doing? That's what we're dealing with. Next game. Yeah, the pitcher's also getting run on. Yeah, Keith. Yeah, Uncle Keith. He is. You're right. Dodgers and the Phillies. Going back to Citizens Bank. What's up, Mari? My cat jumping in her nest. I can be your hero, baby. Kike Hernandez is listed as Kike Hernandez on DraftKings and Fanduel's pricing CSV. But on the stat providers, he's Enrique Hernandez. I just want you guys to feel my pain a little bit. I gotta go through and manually adjust that every day. Alec Bohm, Max Kepler, Kepi Pants, as my buddy Celia used to say. Brandon Marsh. All right, we got Aaron Nola twirling the seams up against Roki Sasaki. Pitching for pitchers who like pitching. We got a 4.3 run total for the Dodgers. Phillies sitting on a 4.4. Phillies slight favorite here. So Roki Sasaki, normally good. Rough start to his first game. was actually caught on camera, literally crying, choked up, which, you know, he's a young kid. 3 innings in Japan on the 19th, 7.2 fantasy points, 3 Ks, 5 walks. Walks have been an issue for him right now. And so is length. And Roki Sasaki, kind of the guy, you know, he was their prize offseason get. You kind of want to see a longer leash. And at 9K, I mean, he's got the talent. Don't let the stat lines fool you. This kid is just built different, and he's gonna get there. But it's always a tough transition going straight into the majors. But his stuff is so dynamic that they're letting him do it. You look at his numbers in Japan last couple of years. I mean, he's been the guy. 111 innings of work in Japan last season, a 10.46 K per 9, which is almost 30%. The year prior, almost 40% K per 9. The walks weren't a big deal for him. So American hitters, or I want to say the MLB hitters, are the best on the planet. So there is going to be an adjustment. The nerves are there. We'll see. We'll see if he puts it together. But I think if I'm the Dodgers, it's a long season. This is a team essentially is already, I don't want to say they already clinched the playoff because the NL West is stacked, but they're going to the playoff. So you probably come out the gate slowly unless he's just feeling it. And being that he hasn't exceeded 60 pitches in around 60 pitches much in the game so far, it's kind of hard to pay 9K for someone that could, you know, Dave Roberts might just let him get through 5 if he's doing well and just kind of pull him from there. So I'm a little bit skeptical at 9K. But once it clicks, it's going to be on and it's going to be a problem. So I think at 9K, I'm going to sit out on Sasaki, but in no way would I talk anyone off of him, because he's a problem and he's going to become a problem, but he's got some edges to smooth out. I don't want to necessarily attack him, but I guess that's kind of a whole move by me, right? Make a decision. But even if they yank him early, they get into a decent pen. So Aaron Nola is kind of good. But so are the Dodgers. But Jesus Luzardo kind of shoved yesterday, right? I do think the Dodgers might be a team that struggles a little bit more with elite lefties than elite righties. So we'll be watching that. But this is don't feel great about any click, and that's fine. If the ownership is down on all 4 corners, then maybe we can pick some spots. I do think Nola is like end of the barrel tournament consideration for me, because I think you get Ohtani, Mookie. Like I'm just gonna be a little punk and just put them all. We'll take Dodgers and Citizens Bank. We'll take Aaron Nola. I think we'll take some Phillies here too, man. You get to crying in front of Schwarber, Trey, Harper. And I'm gonna stay away from Roki, but he's good. Don't get me wrong. I'll type. I'm skeptical about Roki's leash here. Growing pains. I guess. But he will be one of the best pitchers on the planet very soon. Let's see. I'll just look at his spring games. They had a weird spring where they had to play in Japan. Let's see. We don't have anything from there. So yeah, I feel like he's in the bubble wrap mode. I'm just gonna go with that. What up, Jay? Luzardo, Dodgers took a dive steals for no reason. Yamamoto is better than Sasaki. I think right now, yeah. But the thing with Sasaki is he's a baby. I don't know why I said it like that. He's 23, bro. What were you guys doing at 23? Yamamoto is 26, so 3 more years of development and maturity. And maturity is a real thing here when Rocky's literally on the top step of the dugout with tears in his eyes because he didn't do good. There's no crying in baseball. Tom Hanks and Jonathan Lucroy had to team up on him, dude. But make no mistake about it, he's a problem. But maybe, I don't know. It's kind of a weird, he's literally one of the best pitchers on the planet. You don't send him to the minors, it wouldn't be fair. I don't know. But you kind of want to get him his groove back. But the Phillies are in a position right now where they can afford it. They can afford him, having less than stellar games if it means, seeing Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper in April will do better for his psyche and experience levels in October. So I get it. Let's move on. Let's go D-backs and Nationals. Corbin Carroll with a big game yesterday. You know what's funny? We were looking on the stream last night against, was it Jake Irvin? And we're like, he has a problem with power to lefties. Who would be the two? And I believe we said Corbin Carroll and somebody else, and they both homered. So sometimes the metrics, man, that's why we do it. The metric, not the metrics, the splits. A lot of people don't focus on splits, but I also think you look at his just his batted ball data, whether it be his launch angle, his exit velocity. He's a good hitter, so the split's not exactly why, but inversely, Irvin has struggled with power to lefties, so the stars just kind of aligned. Erod on the bump for the D-backs. Nationals, CJ Abrams, Ahmed Rosario. Oh, Nate Lowe. I think we looked at Nate Lowe last night, so not on the D-backs, but we were looking at who could homer with I had that all backwards, didn't I? I was like, I'm looking at Nate Lowe for a bomb, but I think he did. Mitchell Parker towing the slab up against Eduardo Rodriguez. We got a 4.9 implied run total for the D-backs, 4.3 for the Nationals. Right off the rip, we're going to write Diamondbacks in our interest ranking. It's going to be in the 70s out there in Washington. Mitchell Parker, contact pitcher, high whip going to the beginning of last year. 4+ expected ERA. Just a guy you want to pick on. A bullpen you can pick on. Park's a little tougher to get him out, but we're kind of just betting on talent in a plus spot here. I think we saw Ketel Marte get hurt yesterday, and I believe I saw he's going to be on the IL. So that is a blow to the D-backs. Make no mistake about that. Especially, I like his bat against lefties, but there's still plenty of opportunity. And Perdomo, Lourdes Gurriel, Randall Grichuk, Gabriel Moreno, all these guys look really, really good against any lefty, but especially a contact lefty. And this lefty last year against righties, a 1.3 home run per 9. Good spot for Randall Grichuk is so cheap on Fanduel. The thing with Randall Grichuk is, I saw it in the Yankee series. He could be a pure platoon guy between him and Alek Thomas. So you may not get 4 or 5 at-bats out of him, but you're playing him for that pop, and he's pretty cheap on both sides, but I think he is kind of like priced for 2 less implied at-bats based on who's out there. So if you are going crazy with D-backs on this slate and like Grichuk's your highest owned guy, maybe worry about that a little bit. But yeah, we're on the D-back stack here. Erod against the Nationals. I'm not there. About a 22% aggregate K rate going back to 2023. Expected ERA's inflated. The barrel rate since the beginning of last year's double digits. That's a problem. Not a ton of power on this Nats team. Maybe that neutralizes that, but almost a 190 ISO out of CJ Abrams against lefties since the beginning of last year. Alex Call, Dylan Cruz. If we're looking to cherry pick here, middle lineup gets very black holy for power, but they're scrappy. Man, only 4 guys with a positive WRC plus in that split. I feel like I would understand if you took some shares of them, of Erod. Let me go ahead and man, let me do it. I'd probably be looking like a dummy with mustard on my face. Mustard, but pre-flop kind of makes sense. Expected ERA is really high, so like 76. It's loose shares. And probably a DK only. Let's go DK. DK in parentheses. Yankees are dominating over my Mets. Hey, man. You said it, not me. Nationals. Let's move on. Let's go to the aforementioned Yankees, who some people, not me, some people say they're dominating all over their Mets. Not, again, that's not what I said. Some people. Oh my God, Yankees are in a spot. Goldilocks likely leading off against a lefty. Yankees put it on. Everybody but Jazz Chisholm, who I feel like I did that because last night I went on a little speech about Jazzy not in Yankee Stadium. And then, like, literally everyone else went off. I was like, man, that's my bad. That's my bad. My bad, Shotty. Marcus Stroman on the bump for the Yanks. We got Adam Frazier, Brian Reynolds, Rapp, O'Neal Cruz, Joey. My bad, Shotty. Oh man, IKF, little revenge game. Bailey Falter, you did your thing, dog. 16% K rate for Bailey, essentially going 3 years strong now. He's pitching to contact. That's a dangerous thing to do against righties. That's where we want to focus on against the top of this lineup. 255 average allowed last year, 1.12 home run per 9. A lot of hard contact. A lot of elevated line drive rates, and to me, line drives are kind of when you think about ground balls and fly balls. I think line drives are like the hardest to field because it's so fast. So that might be a higher indication of opposing bats in good spots to get some hits. So great spot for the Yanks, 1 through 3 with incredibly high splits against lefties. We've kind of seen Judge turn his splits around. It used to be a little less green against lefties, and he's really worked his way up to just be a freaking problem against anybody. So we're gonna go Yankees at the top of this list. Yankees have a 5.1 implied run total. Pirates sitting on a 4.1. Yankees are minus 165, which might be a Stroman thing. Because Stroman is a contact guy, and we saw a very high barrel rate in his batted ball event data from opening day. Expected ERA is kind of elevated. Don't want to pitch Stroman personally. His ground ball rate might be able to bail him out in some spots. You saw way more fly balls in that opening game. Let's double check his spring campaign. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So he had a 1 ground out to air out ratio, and like yesteryear's Marcus Stroman, that would be like even higher, really 1.52. So we are seeing regression in the ground ball rate, and then the whip has just been really, really bad. 1.38 whip in March, with a little bit of walks, but I'm not too worried about that. Yeah. Pirates would be a substack though. As much as I feel like Stroman's a leak, this Pirates team's not that deep in terms of names you would want to throw together. It's pretty top heavy. Brian Reynolds, O'Neal Cruz would be the 2 guys that for sure want a piece of against Stroman. And I might just list their names instead of yeah, let's just do that. Let's go Reynolds and Cruz. And Cruz is go look at Baseball Savant. Sprint speed. He's not on here. All right. Just double checking the sprint speed on Cruz, because Cruz is a big strikeout guy. 30%. But we saw even in the Miami series, if you're gonna dare to put the ball in play, still gets on and steals. And it might be able to outrun some of those grounders, and we've seen some sloppy first base defense from goalies. So a lot of reason to kind of like O'Neal Cruz here. Marcus Stroman, 1.2 plus home run per 9 since the beginning of last season. Allows some power. PNC Park's not really a park I'm chasing for power, but Reynolds and Cruz, the 2 for me. Not touching pitching here. Zardo pitched in AAA Vegas, which featured a bat dog. Not as cool as cat dog, but still kind of cool. Need the Yankees to calm down. Hey man, let us be great. Orioles and the Royals. The Orioles. Whoa. No, that's not actually. Let's just keep it moving. And let's sit in awkward silence for just a second and pretend I never said that. We can edit that and post. I'm a little goofy tonight. That's what happens when I actually have some sleep in me. Guys get this version and not the half asleep, up for 36 out of 40 hours. Jackson Holiday is a lefty. Tomoyuki Sugiyano. I can't spell. Dude, I just absolutely. Ryan Montcastle. There we go. All right. Well, measure twice, cut once. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. Royals and the Orioles. Running it back. It's already looking like a spot where I'm a little bit more intrigued by the bats, but we're do our due diligence here. Mike Waka. 11% carry and 4 innings of work, 21% last season. Especially problematic were the lefties against him on opening day. It's kind of one of those guys, you know, you're gonna pitch to contact against a good team. Could be in for some trouble. Royals are actually 120 favorites. So how do we split this up? We're not playing Michael Walker. We're just not. Sagano threw 73 pitches. A whip that you don't want. But it was the Blue Jays. Good team. Not that the Royals aren't. Look at his spring numbers. 13 innings in March, 15 Ks. That's what you want. A 1 whip. That's what you want. 85 pitches. So we might see a bounce back for him soon. I'll look at some individual data. Pitch tab splits. He was only getting Ks on the fastball. Sinker was getting hit up. But one game sample says he's 35. I didn't expect that. 345 expected batting average in the batted ball event data, 6 1/4 on the expected ERA. All that's not what you want. And this team's not a big strikeout team anyway, so did all that just to not want either pitcher, which means we got to get to some stacks. We're gonna go Orioles and the Royals. Orioles, you could definitely go 4 deep. Royals, we're looking at Bobby Witt, Pascantino, and kind of building around that. But Michael Garcia's got some speed if he gets on. He's certainly a big threat to steal. Or we're looking at the top half here. Temps up there in the 40s, so Casey doesn't have the random 80 degrees like we saw a week ago. And it looks like wind could be blowing in Kaufman, so enough to stifle. So let's go in the notes. 40-degree temps, winds projected, blowing in. Could stifle long balls. Giggity. So type giggity. 7 days a week. Yeah, no, I skipped a stream the other night, but I do so much. This is kind of my escape, but it's also now a little bit of a job, the grind, which I'm grateful. Like, I love it, but I only have so many hours in a day, and some of these days streaming at 11:30, you're gonna get a mumbling gun, a gumble. I don't know. That's dumb. Hey, Fenway went off yesterday. That was fun. I'm gonna run it back. Andre Payante against Dick Fitz. You know, his name is Richard. That's not as fun. We was all over Fenway yesterday to put up some runs, and boy, did it. Did we run it back? Looks like right off the rip, though. Might have to be cognitive of some potential weather. But man, everybody got involved yesterday. Payante against Richard Fitz. Fitz was not great. Going back to the beginning of last year, we're looking at a guy who pitches to contact, sub 10% swing and strike rate, and the K rate aggregate 12% since the beginning of last year. So that's not good. And this is a Cardinals team, doesn't strike out anyway. Cardinals run total 4.4. Red Sox 4.8. Red Sox still healthily favored here. No matter what, I'd be looking for another 10 plus runs here. However, in Fenway, low 40 temps, possible rain. It is a day game, but it's not like a 12 p.m. day game. 4 p.m. We'll see. I'll do the basic look, right? Fenway Park weather. It looks like it's gonna start raining right around first pitch, and then stays around the 30% chance of rain. So don't get me lying about the weather, but it is absolutely something you need to be cognitive of. It does exist. It could rain, but if they commit themselves to getting the game in, even if it wasn't raining, we're not here for pitching. So if they commit themselves to getting a game in, you're just kind of liking the spots for the offenses. So we're gonna go Red Sox and Cardinals, and then based on stacks or if it does rain, we're just kind of betting on talent anyway. So I'll go from there. Payante did have a 16.7% swing and strike rate in that first game, but somehow just a 14% K rate. This Red Sox lineup, I just don't want to pick on him here. Healthy run total, healthy ISO. I'm just going offense only. If you want to pick on Fitz, Lars Nootbaar looks good. He's righty. Had some righty power numbers in that first game. Maybe Wilson Contreras. Ivan Herrera is apparently the best power righty on the team after his triple dong day the other day. So that's where we're at. We're going double offense. Trout comeback player if there's an award. I think Mike Trout comeback player of the year. Who's all like in that conversation of guys that have come back? Remember Geno Smith was like in a conversation of comeback player of the year. I'm like, come back from what? Come back from sucking? That's a thing? Trout's legitimately just been hurt. I mean, I just want Trout to be healthy. Or do I? I don't know. Moving on to Texas. Got the Rays and Taj Bradley taking on Jacob deGrom. This is pitching for guys who like pitching, part 2. Where's my old heads? Where's Pojen? You guys remember the old TBS movie night? Movies for guys who like movies. This is pitching for guys who like pitching. Taj Bradley, talk about staying healthy. He could be comeback player of the year. Although I guess he pitched last year, so that's not fair. But it feels like him finding that velocity is huge for him. And we saw him shove it last time out with a 30% K rate. Arrive, strike you out, leave. Jacob deGrom got in a little bit of trouble early. Got out of it. 5 innings for him, 30% K rate. Run totals 3.3, 4.4. Rangers actually implied for some runs here. But man, that's a little disrespectful. But I guess the 4.4 expected ERA for Taj Bradley. A little room for whatever. This 10% called strike. This guy doesn't, I guess he's inducing a lot more swings, but C strike is a little low. But right off the rip, man, we're going interest in the pitchers. Dude, before the last game, a tweet came out. It was like, Jacob deGrom strike to be limited to 75 pitches, and everyone freaked out. Well, duh, it was the first start for everyone. Like, people overreacted. With that said, 5 innings out of him in those 73 pitches. I don't know what the plan of attack is for his pitch count. Are we being normally pitchers? I go another 15, another 10 on the conservative side. If we get to 80 pitches, if we get a shot at 6 innings, like I think DeGrom's 9K. Yeah, we're in there. 20 fantasy points in those 5 innings and 73 pitches. So the fact that they did kind of release that information, maybe they release an update on what they might be looking to let him go now, or they just kind of stick at 75 for a while. Doubt it. But right off the rip, we're going pitchers in this one because I believe that these are 2 high ceiling pitchers with their strikeout stuff against matchups. I guess DeGrom's matchup's a little bit sweeter for strikeouts, but neither team really in and of themselves go crazy with the strikeouts. I think we're kind of betting on the pitcher talent to usurp the matchup, and that's fine. We do have that tier S pitchers that we get to that with, right? The Glasshouse, the Sales, the Wheelers and Dealers. Let's go look at some numbers here for Bradley. .95 on the average fastball velo for him. That's a little bit up from last year. Definitely up from the year prior. .341 expected WOBA. .441 expected slug. Fine, right? Fine. Looking at what might be Bradley's leaks going into the last couple of years. High hard contact rate. The barrel rate being 10%. He can get got. Make no mistake about it. Walk rate's fine. Not great. Around 8%. Both sides of the plate the last 2 years. So you just kind of like hoping he doesn't give up a homer when you roster him, but the strikeout stuff is certainly there. Who would homer off of him? Who can neutralize the strikeouts? Well, Corey Seager stands out. 160 WRC plus against righties since the beginning of last year. 935 OPS. You cut the K rate in half there. Jock Peterson certainly has the power. Those are 2 guys I'd be eyeing, circling on the lineup sheet to not get them out. Otherwise, that's kind of it. And then Adolis Garcia. Somebody that can get that random punch in your mouth, but he does strike out a lot. So let's say, yeah, let's just stick with the pitchers from now. And then if DeGrom is only like short hooking 6 max 5, you look at the Rays, dip into the bullpen a little bit, but the Rays and Kevin Cash are just kind of hard to read in terms of mid-game swaps. Expect guys like Brandon Lau to be safe, but yeah, no strong lean on the hitters here. So we're going pitchers only. A 4.4 run total is healthy enough that, yeah, we'll put Seager and Peterson in the ranking. Someone's got to score those runs. Yeah. Dinner and a movie, peas and cornbread. Jose Ramirez, 3 homers. Sheesh. Did we do yesterday? The interest ranking was like, yeah, only J-Ram. Dude, that game's still going? Holy crap. J-Ram has 46 fantasy points. 3. I specifically remember, if we go to yesterday's stream, I was like, yeah, there's only 2 Guardians I can get to. It's J-Ram and Stephen Kwan, and it's really just J-Ram. And I'm like looking at the fantasy points for the 8-run Guardians. Stephen Kwan 9, J-Ram 46, The guy behind J-Ram, Carlos Santana, 3. Kyle Manzardo, 9. Lane Thomas, 5. Noel, 0. Got subbed out for Nolan Jones, 0. Bo Naylor has 4. Gabriel Arias, 9. And then Brian Rocchio, hey, give him some credit here. He's got 14 fantasy points with 3 RBIs in the 9 hole. It's Jose Ramirez and the Sunshine Gang, dude. I mean, wow. Good for J-Ram. Get him out. I'm going to get you out of there. Put some pinstripes on that young man. Gosh, dang it. Let's keep it moving. Let's go to the main slate. Actually, we've been on the main slate. The Rangers game kicks off the main slate in terms of preview. Let's go back to Milwaukee. Cincinnati Reds. Matt McClain might not play, but I'm going to put him in the spreadsheet for now. I'm pretty sure he's not going to play. We'll see. Gavin Lux. Wasn't Gavin on the... I don't know. Jose Trevino, former Yankee great. Brady Singer on the bump for the Reds on the Brewers side. I am so thirsty right now. I got some water in here. Did I just misspell Christian and it came out Christ to stain? I don't know. I don't know why I mentioned that. Jesus Christ! Shout out Jesus though, for real. Elvin Rodriguez throwing baseballs for the Brewers today. Reds rocking a 4.2 run total. Brewers 4.1. And delete these aggregate Ks over here. Oh yeah. Brady Singer, 7 innings strong in his season debut. 33% K rate, 15% swing and strike rate. Expected some regression there, a little bit. But Brady Singer, decent inning eater pitcher. Elvin Rodriguez, maybe not so much. 175 whip, 4.7 expected ERA in the short work we got out of him. Let's go pull up his minor league numbers. Had Rocchio. Hey man, you got a time machine. No, good for you. We got 9.2 innings of work in March. 17 hits. Is that good? 3 bombs, 12 strikeouts. So he got more than a strikeout per. Almost a 2 whip. Not great. Not what you want. This is the problem with the Brewers that we saw. They're very hurt when it comes to pitchers. So this is what they have to limp in here with. I think three of their starting pitchers are on the IL. Brandon Woodruff, Aaron Savali, but he got hurt, but he saw Tobias Myers, and then looking at the relievers, Nick Mears, Blake Perkins. It's a very beat up pitching crew. And you don't just find Brandon Woodruffs off the street. So you got to go get guys like Elvin Rodriguez, and that's not great. I feel like I'm picking on him, but it is what it is. So we want some action against them. I know the Reds have just a 4.2 run total here, but bad hitting beats bad pitching, yeah, at the major league level, yeah, maybe. So I'm putting Reds at the top of my interest here. Brady Singer, I'm slightly intrigued. Has a problem with lefties though. We isolated his numbers from at least last year. 180 innings of sample size. 200 average to righties, 0.71 homer per nine, just a 4% walk rate, fine ground ball rate, 3.39 xFIP. Like those, we would take those. And then you turn them around, looking at the other batter box, 385 xFIP, a 291 average, 1.51 homer per nine. The line drive rate goes up. And we're looking at like Bryce Turang, who's shown power this season, even though his ISO to righties is just a 109. Since beginning of last year, we got Christian Yelich, Safrilik. Got a couple lefties in here. I'll say the bottom half of these lefties aren't high quality lefties. Maybe Garrett Mitchell taps into the power and the strikeout suppression. His 31% K rate versus a 21% K rate. Let's go Singer, and then Brewers Substack. Still feel like we're pretty. We'll go Brewer just because it is Miller Park plus offensive park. So we'll go Red, Singer, Brewer. So I'm kind of opposite the way Vegas has put this game. No, I'm not. Reds are favorited, 4.2. Slight favorites, but favorited. All right. That's how we run that. What's up, OG? I don't know a thing about baseball. Just want to say I miss your NBA DFS videos. So why don't I do NBA anymore? All right, so I do a lot of stuff in the real world now. And NBA is such a time-consuming grind. And I feel like there's so many incredible NBA analysts and content providers, and that's a tough market to swim in. Baseball, like with humbleness, I say I feel like I'm up there in terms of just being a nerd that also does DFS and prop betting. So I feel like I add some value to the market on baseball. For basketball, man, I feel like I'm just in the ocean with the fish, the big fish, and it's just so time consuming. So that's kind of where I'm at on that. Now, if a website was like, "Hey, Gun, come on board and be part of the team," I'd listen. But I just don't have I can't do it by myself, so I don't. But baseball, I have a genuine passion for it. So I've made the commitment to grind this baseball season. So that's what I'm doing. But never say never. I'd certainly listen. Dude, for baseball, I almost thought about I need to be on a team. But I feel like for baseball, if there was one sport I was going to be able to control the variables for content creation and tool creation, it was baseball, just because you don't have to react to news so quickly and so much like you do with basketball. But dude, I so appreciate you saying that. I appreciate anyone over the last 2 years that have reached out to me on Twitter. Even during football season, it means a lot that people look for me rambling to myself for 2 hours. I had a blast doing those live basketball streams all the time. It was fun. It's also high stress, and it was eating up a lot of my day. Get up in the morning, put out some prop content. We do that live stream at 2. Sometimes I would do another stream for Stochastic. And then so many times, a bulk of what I said would just get turned on its head because somebody got ruled out, and then that reshaped the entire slate in terms of value. So it's a very short shelf life type of content. And I live in Texas, so I'm pretty restricted on sports betting, and I believe DFS is all but dead, dried up, solved, especially for basketball. These simulators, these tools everywhere, that sports betting's kind of the wave. And I just I tell you, man, I can't put my money where my mouth is for sports betting, unfortunately, where I live. So it's a little bit of honor behind that as well. But I'd join a team. I would. Chris Bassett, he's on a team. The Blue Jays is taking on Griffin Canning and the Mets. 4 implied runs for the Mets, 3.7 for the Blue Jays. Low projected totals here. High 40s, possible rain in Queens. Put that in the game notes. Chris Bassett, 6 innings in his first outing, 1-4 K rate, 11% swing and strike rate. Kind of expect that to come down, be more of the 9% swing and strike rate for the last 2 years, and more of the 22% K rate guy. A little bit of revenge, right? But not a bad real life pitcher. But for DFS, I do kind of like have tapered expectations for like what a ceiling return would be. I like to pick on teams that don't have a lane of 200 plus ISO against a guy that's more contact than not. And then going back to last year, Bassett against lefties was certainly a problem. 11.4% walk rate last year, 25% line drive rate, 1.5 home run per 9, a 300 plus average allowed. There's a lot to be worried about in the bats of Lindor, Juan Soto, Brandon Nimmo. And then as we saw yesterday with Kevin Gausman, Pete Alonso, he can still swing a hot stick here. So right off the rip, I'm going to go a little bit of Mets stack interest. And then Griffin Canning. What are we seeing that the Blue Jays have a sub 4 run total? So a 106 whip in the 5.2 innings that we saw last week, 4.15 expected ERA, a sub 20% K rate. The swing and strike rate has been double digits for 3 years now. And even going into last year, 11% swing and strike rate resulted in just a 17% overall K rate with a 1.4 whip. Elevated average allowed, home runs were a problem. The hard contact has been insane. Am I missing something? That the Blue Jays have a sub 4 run total? Maybe it's just the Blue Jays have been rough, but the game was just a 7.5. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something there. And it's not so much. I don't know. I just don't feel like Griffin Canning is like super elite. That we would do that, but okay. I'm gonna go Mets, Blue Jays before I go pitching. And I don't think I'm gonna go pitching. I'd take Bassett against like a White Sox. Like I think that's a team that, you know, Rockies, White Sox, teams like that really stink and give you strikeouts. There are some strikeouts to be had in the Mets lineup, but man, there's a lot of green. So I'm gonna go bats. Who would be worried about here? So Bassett. I don't want to type the name Juan Soto, but Soto, Lindor, even Nimmo. You can get to 4+ really, really quickly and not feel the worst with the Mets. And then who do we want to pick on Griffin Canning with? Well, he's allowed some power to both sides of the plate, and the last 3 years strong against righties. Some of you guys have been on that Vladimir Guerrero slot machine. This looks like a spot. They'd have a nice ground ball. I'm gonna look at his ground ball rate in the spring, maybe. Griffin Canning. What's up, Ayo? What up, Chandler? Not sure if it would be an obvious play, but thoughts on stacking versus Sasaki. Has seemed to have his best off in America, like for a target spot. Yeah, I mean, I guess I was kind of skittish in making a decision there. I definitely know that I don't have Sasaki in the blender. I put Phillies as a 3rd on the interest ranking, but yeah, if I'm worried about Sasaki, and getting right, and I think the thing with Sasaki is after last week, you probably short hooks in a jam just to kind of bubble wrap them. So I don't think that's a crazy take. I don't think the Dodgers bullpens, like, I'm going crazy to shove on them, but we get them in Citizens Bank Park daytime. I'm there. So I don't think that's crazy. I'm with you. It's not a fun click, but you shouldn't have to do much in terms of getting exposure to the Phillies to have leverage on the field if you're managing a portfolio of lineups. Like the nice streams, AO. Yeah, that's another. I've really thought about how I could be most valuable in a return here. Like, this isn't because I want to stream at night. I'd be just fine being on Twitch right now playing video games. But I felt like for the community that we're trying to service, and then also to not step on toes of friends that are also live streaming, so you guys don't have to choose between us. Night before is a good spot. And unlike basketball, baseball is a little bit more static and controlled. So a lot of this information and work that we're doing here carries meaning 90+% into tomorrow. That's the beauty of baseball. Just because Soto gets a day off and you get like a 2,500 bat, don't mean I have to play that guy. You know what I mean? It's not 1-to-1 like basketball where minutes equal money. What up, DT? I appreciate those words, DT Most Wanted. What up, Kid Kobe? Hope you're doing all right. Appreciate everybody. The good vibes. Oh, what was I doing? I was pulling up Griffin Canning spring. The ground ball rate was fine and was high in spring too. At least in March. Decent whip, low average. I could be wrong on Griffin Canning. 20 Ks in 12.2 innings. The swing and strike rate certainly suggests that he should be like a 22 to 24% K rate guy. And the run total certainly suggests that he's good. So what article have I missed on Griffin Canning? Did he switch up his pitch profile? He added a cutter that he's only thrown 3 times. So it's not that. 93.7 velo on the 4-seam. Last year was 93.4, so that's about linear. Go to Baseball Savant. It's clear to me right now that there's something I've missed about Griffin Canning that I need to unmiss real fast, yeah? 451 expected slug is higher than last year, but that's off of 1 game. Spin rates maybe 2840 on the slider this season. 2670. That's a jump. I mean, it's a small sample jump. $22.26 on the 4-seamer. 21.18. It's a little bit of a jump, not like crazy. So maybe the slider got better. 25% whiff on the slider, 37% whiff on the changeup. That's up a little bit. The slider last year for him, 33%. I don't know, man. I don't get it. If you're watching, or if you're in chat, you know something I don't. What am I missing? This Vegas is giving him a ton of respect. He's not priced like an ace. Like he's not priced like anything crazy. Yeah. I mean, in the minor league, excuse me, the spring training numbers were nice. Were like elite levels of nice. Sub 200 average, 1 whip, high ground ball. Small sample. I don't know, man. He started throwing his slider over 50% of the time. Is that the mix? And also, like, is that going to be a thing? Or was that like a 1-game anomaly? %52 slider. What up, Thomas? All right, well, pitch report on Blue Jays against the slider. And that slider spin rate was up, so it looks like a plus pitch. So, like, that could be it. It was the plan for spring and going into the year. Okay, all right. All right, so that's the difference here. Is pitch usage. Look at the Blue Jays pitch report against the slider. You got Vladdy, you got Alejandro Kirk, and Nathan Lukes, and got to be small sample. All right, Griffin Canning. Not a strikeout team in the Blue Jays, so I'm probably not chilling, but there's something there. There's absolutely something there to watch. And maybe it's one of those to get on him before everybody else is on him. If that slider thing holds up, because it does look like a plus slider, yeah. .352 expected wOBA on the slider, the 2840 on the spin rate. Expected slug is actually kind of high, 540. A 291 expected batting average. It's not that plus. All right, either he's the GOAT and I don't know, or the Blue Jays run total is a little cray-cray. Mets are here on Yankees and Soto didn't start yet. What? All right, let's move on to the next game. What could go wrong with 50% slider, Jake? Good for the Mets, though, making some type of pitching decisions. It's like so many teams, they're getting there now, but so many teams have like incredible pitchers. And by I mean so many, I mean mainly the Pirates, where they're just like, yeah, this is Tyler Glass now. This is Garrett Cole. We can't figure out why he's not good. And they're like, hey, we'll give you Chris Archer for deal. And they're like, hey, just throw this pitch. And so many teams just let pitchers not, I don't know. I guess sometimes it's the catcher too, but these days every team has an analytical department and pitching department. The Braves are on the board, able to win, squeak one out, if you will. Shalver. And today they're looking to go back to back like the cover of Lethal Weapon. They are minus 222, and another one, 2 favorites. As AJ Smith Shalver toes the slab up against Cal Quantrill. Neither pitcher look especially great for DFS. So I'm certainly not getting to Quantrill. I think you gotta go get some interest in a 5+ run total team like the Braves. I'm there on that. And then AJ, the phenomenal AJ Schmalvers, 77 pitches against San Diego, 4 Ks, 3 walks. I I don't think I lose sleep if I fade Shawver and he goes crazy. I don't know. It's a lineup in the Marlins that does strike out. He did have a 17% swing and strike rate in 4 innings, but that seems a little anomalic. I'm probably gonna chill on that. I'm just gonna go Braves here. Once again, we got a low run total that makes me like, what is a picture of the GOAT? Let me double check something with AJ. Henning's fastball last year at 375 expected woe and didn't miss bats. So yeah, not a great slider, but it's better than the fastball. So just do that. Soto will come back to bite you, Yankees. Bruh. Here we go with this again. 14 innings in spring for AJ, 17 strikeouts. So more than a strikeout per. And I guess last year he was just dead. A swing and strike rate is encouraging. The more than a strikeout per in spring is encouraging. Marlins 3.5 run total with the lineup that looks like this is encouraging. I guess you can make a case, especially on Fanduel. You get the heavily implied quality start and win. $22 years old, so these youngsters, we can expect their numbers from 2 years ago to slowly progress. Pitching for a job since they optioned Bryce Elder and traded Ian Anderson. He had a 20-5 walk or strikeout to walk through 16 Grapefruit League innings. Oh, we just went through that. I think we'll buy into the strikeout potential a little bit. So we're gonna put him in the blender. And we lost our home row. Braves and AJ Smith-Shawver. And we'll go with that. And then we'll go to Coors. Coors played yesterday. Athletics put up some runs. Mason Miller looked like a goat. Lawrence Butler, Brent Rooker, JJ Bleday, Shane Langoliers, Tyler Soderstrom, Miguel Andujar, Jacob Wilson, Giovanni Urshela, and Max Muncy. Not that one. And the projected former Yankee great JP Sears on the bump. Rockies projected Brandon Doyle, Ezekiel Tovar, Ryan McMahon, Hunter Goodman, Chris Bryant, Michael Taglia, Kyle Farmer, Sean Bouchard, and Jordan Beck. Herman Marquez on the bump. We got a run total of 5 for the A's, 4.8 for the Rockies. So essentially a 10 run total out there in Coors. Oh my God, some prices that look like some value spots here, especially on this athletic side. If we pick on Herman Marquez, he's been kind of out of the game for a little bit. He used to be really good, especially road splitting. But he's been kind of hurt. 24 innings in the last 2 years. Closer to contact. Strikeouts are okay. Yeah, I'm not going to overanalyze the pitching here. JP Sears, strong first 6.2 innings, but I'm not buying what he's selling just yet. We look at the last 2 years, almost 360 plus 370 innings of work. High barrel rate, that could be a problem in Coors. K rate probably closer to a 20% strikeout pitcher with a expected ERA over 4.4. The plus side for him, it is the Rockies. The downside for him, it is Coors Field. It is looking like 44 degrees out there in Coors. There's a whole lot of versus in a great spot, in a great park, right? So I think we're kind of stacking the ballpark more than anything. Athletics stack makes more sense here. And then I guess if you're going to take the Rockies against a lefty or a righty, you want to go lefties and just hope to get shots of the ISO from Hunter Goodman, Ezekiel Tovar, Michael Toglia. And you can neutralize these K rates, these incredibly high K rates with the guy like JP Sears overall. Although I would say his swing and strike rate, even last year with just an 18% K rate, it still had almost a 10% swing and strike rate. So like, it's not pure Bartolo in it, and the barrel rate's higher than what you would want it. So we're gonna go offenses here, just because it's Coors, and just because the pricing in Coors is insanely low historically. Hunter Goodman leads the team. It's small sample, and 300 ISO against lefties. He's 3,600 on DraftKings, maybe batting cleanup in Coors. You know what I mean? Like that feels like, how do you not take some shares of that? And then you kind of go from there. I'm going to go A's and Rockies. Don't see myself pitching either pitcher here. Matthew Boyd can't be that good, right? Don't hate some Padre 3-mans or one-offs. Yeah, I think I had the Padres as a substack. No, actually, I just had Machado. But I like, if you ever show me a lineup that has Fernando Tatis, Machado, Xander Bogaerts, I'm certainly not gonna point and laugh. Matter of fact, Tatis, even though how are the Padres' numbers against lefties this bad? I'm gonna put Tatis there on the list though. But those are three names I'll never point and laugh at you for rostering. Don't need to spend too much time. Coors Field is Coors Field. Dumb games break out. It's the most hitter-friendly park in baseball. Look at JP Sears and his pitch report. Fastball, slider, changeup. So just a 3-pitch pitcher. Not a ton of breaking ball stuff. And these are negative pitches on earth. And then Germán Marquez, he knows how to pitch in Coors, but he can bleed red too, right? Especially in Coors. So yeah, we're going offense only here. Singer lock against the Brewers, pathetic lineup. You think so? I have interest in him. Lock's a little aggressive. Speaking of a little aggressive, man, Mariners and the Giants out there in Oracle. We talk about these park factors. They had an old 1930 snow football game breakout yesterday, man. That was like crazy. I guess that happens in day games. The Marine Layer. Rolling up in. Shut that all down at night, yeah? I don't know. Those are terms that I know. Bryce Miller taking on Robbie Ray. I think I will be interested in pitching from this game. Ray so far, 10% swing and strike rate, 20% K rate. Again, one game sample size. We expect that to be closer to what we had last year. He had a perfect game going, and then he didn't. So that was fun. And then Bryce Miller on the bump for the Mariners. Digging into last year's numbers, 1-4 strikeout rate, double-digit swing and strikeout, double-digit swing and strike rate, and a sub-1 whip. So you put these two pitchers in a plus park, and I certainly could see positive results for pitching when it comes to upside. Mariners run total 3.6, a lot of 3.5s on the run line today. Might just be April baseball and my brain can't compute. But yeah, low 7.5 game total. I don't necessarily disagree with this one because I think both pitchers are decently solid run prevention wise. Miller certainly has better splits overall against righties digging to last year. A 308 xFIP, 26.5% K rate, sub 200 average allowed. Kept the ball on the ground. But when you turn it around against lefties, 4.56 xFIP, the year prior 5.2 xFIP, 1.4 to 1.9 home run per nine. The ground ball rate absolutely plummets. Fly ball rate spikes. And then he's a guy with a near 10% barrel rate the last 2 seasons. And this Giants projected Lamont Wade, Jung Ho Lee, Mike Yastrzemski, Patrick Bailey. There's four in there. They're not super scary and kind of split apart. 8,500 on DK. Do we have outlines for these guys yet? Possibly. No. AJ Smith-Shawver's at 14.5. Right now they're slamming the over, so that's gonna be 15 plus. So that puts them closer to kind of implying the win for them. But I got nothing on the Oracle game. So I think we're gonna rank pitching first. This might be a 4 corners. I think 3 corners from now. For now, I'm gonna go Bryce Miller. I'm gonna go Robbie Ray, and then I'm gonna go Mariners. Just because this Mariners team, this projected, has a lot of positive WRC plus against lefties. They do strike out enough, and this is a pitcher's park, and the average is low, that I can see Robbie Ray kind of toeing the line with his tight pants on. So it's not a confident click on Robbie Ray, but I definitely think that there's merit in attacking this strikeout rate, expecting Robbie Ray to be closer to like a 24-25% K rate guy. But it's kind of a coin flip because I do like the Mariners, a little bit of ISO, but could be suppressed by the stadium. So that's where we're at on that. Not run into a giant stack. If you want to pick on them, no. I don't know. We'd be betting on talent. So it's a hard game to love to be at. What up, ACP? Hope you're doing all right. We only got 1 game left on the docket, so take a pause for the cause and plug MLBgrind.com. If you guys are loving this night before stream stuff, you're just looking for a way to support everything and get a little bit of return, go to MLBgrind.com. Click premium memberships, subscribe now. I can't click nothing. I don't know. There we go. We have week pass, month pass, and the rest of the season pass. Once you do upgrade, click members portal. Here, you'll have a link to the Discord and the spreadsheet. Jump on that Discord. I'm asking everybody, when you get in there, let me know what you want in your content. You know what I mean? How you like your coffee? How you like your baseball stuff? You want me to look at props? You want me to look at DFS? So far, everyone's been kind of leaning DFS, and I've been kind of sharing prop stuff when I personally run it on like PrizePicks. But you know, it's all fluid. It's the word we keep using as we build this out and create a group of nerds. And you guys are welcome to come and join the group. Phillies pitcher pitched a gem against us. Yeah, Jesus Luzardo is he might be a problem. I was on him against the Nats. It's going to be hard to pitch against the Dodgers at all this season with any level of confidence. Just because that team is... ACP, don't get here and make me hype up the Dodgers, dude. Don't do this to me. Just don't. I thought we were friends. I, for one, would be ashamed if my team bought championships on layaway at that. You guys Killarned a freaking all-star team. My team could never, actually. We respect salary caps, and we pay our players now. And we don't employ gamblers with fall guys, okay? No child labor pitchers that cry when they get shelled, okay? That's not what we do. Take pride. We develop players. You know what that's like? We draft Fresno State goats. Put work into them. We we signed 16-year-old Cubans and build them up. Tanner Bybee is pitching for the Guardians. Angels 3.8 run total. Jack, I think we said this name weird the other day. It's Kochano. Wait, no, this is Kochano. There's another guy that was like had a weird name, but it's not this guy. This game, I feel like it just ended. This game went long last night, and Jose Ramirez was the guy. 8-6. It only went 9. I don't know why it went. I felt like it was going into extras. So I'll say it again, like we said yesterday, man. And you look at a team that scores almost 10 runs. They did it off of essentially one bat. Jose Ramirez, top of the interest ranking. He's just a unicorn right now. Pretty soon, you're not going to pitch to him if you can, and just let Carlos Santana and Kyle Manzardo beat you. Tanner's kind of in play for me. The 10% K rate in game 1, I'm going to look past that. It's coming off that food poisoning scratch. Did get to 84 pitches that game. Let's go look at his in-game metrics for that one. The 10% K rate. Like, how'd that happen? What we're doing? Hit 11% swing and strike rate in that game too. 65% first pitch strike. Everything else is like on par with what we saw from the last 2 seasons. I mean, this is almost like beautifully symmetrical or linear. So it looks like he just got a little unlucky on the put out pitch. Stuff plus from that. He was sub average in stuff plus. See, 4% below. .151 expected ERA from that game. We'll take that. I'm in on Bobby. Let's do it. Jack Kochenowicz, no thank you. And then, dude, this is almost like a pickup game where the team captains are Jose Ramirez and Mike Trout. Everybody else just stand on the wall. Let those two pick their team, bro. Like, you're not excited to play other Angels. Like, maybe Jorge Soler is a little bit more exciting than Stephen Kwan and Carlos Santana, but yeah, this is rough. That's how we do that. Santana gets that rub from Ramirez tomorrow. Hey man, let me use your bat. All right, now that we got every game tomorrow into the spreadsheet, let's see what the bomb detector's liking. Chat, if you guys haven't already, please hit that thumbs up. If you're watching on replay, leave a comment. Where's Aaron Judge at? Bailey Falter against righties, 112. Something ain't right here. Oh, he's right there. Yo, Judge's bomb detector rating is the lowest I think I've ever seen it, and it's Bailey Falter. What's doing that? Got me. That don't seem right. 3.8. I mean, it's not bad, but it's usually like on the top. Speaking of on the top, 4.72 for Shohei Ohtani. Hello. What? Against Nola? Nola against lefties has certainly been a problem keeping them in the park. Citizens Bank Park is insanely good for lefty power. It's Shohei Ohtani. So he's probably like lowest odds on the board for homers, him and Judge every day. So it's not even that fun to take action on, yeah. Fastball curve. Those are like Ohtani's best 2 pitches to see. Yeah, okay. Well, rest in peace, Nola. He's giving up a leadoff homer. Good for him. GG. Stack Cincy like a bozo tonight. I was kind of I don't know. I had the early slate. At the 3 teams for the early I was on was Cardinals, Red Sox, Yankees. And then for the main slate, I forget what I wrote down. Well, I don't know. The Reds are kind of weird. The Reds have been so anemic ever since that one game where they dropped like 14. Obviously, this isn't predictive, but this is like Reds in a nutshell right now. They dropped 14 runs on the Rangers and then drop 0, 0, 0, 2. Like, this is Ellie De La Cruz and friends offense, and most of the time we're going to want them when they're in Cincinnati. But Miller Park is a hitter-friendly park, or American family, whatever. So, I don't know. I don't blame you. All right, we are done looking at all these games. Hopefully we helped you kind of understand what's coming today for the baseball slate. So many games all day. We'll have some fun with it. Make sure you jump in there in the premium Discord. Hit me up. Let me know how you're doing. I'm certainly going to be around for the main slate. I'm going to try to dress it up for the afternoon slate. I do tend to go out in the daytime sometimes, but we should be pretty well set. And then I'll have, I guess I'll do pitcher projection. I'll definitely have pitcher projections for the main slate. I'll try and get them up for I'll just try and get every game up. Screw it. We'll do it. When the system tells you no, how do you deal with it? I mean, it's usually, I created the system, so it's usually just me making sure that it's not broken. It's not telling me that Judge isn't gonna homer. It's telling it just doesn't have him the highest grade as far as all the factors it considers, and those factors are usually influenced by the batted ball data, the pull rate, the ground ball rates, and then the park factors are considered as well. So Aaron Judge is just sent here by the baseball gods to come play baseball and rake. And I think one of the things I might be looking at is this 31% below average in homers to righties, but it's Aaron Judge. He literally wrote StatCast. So that might be suppressing it a little bit, but it's Aaron Judge. So like, I don't need to see Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani with high scores, because I think his homer yesterday wasn't even off the starter anyway. You just looking at him as his talent. 6,400 is just wow. I mean, and it's worth every penny. So it's the bomb detector rating's not telling me that he's a bad play. It just doesn't have him as the most likely. Meanwhile, we look at Ohtani, who has similar metrics all the way around in terms of splits, but he's heavily boosted by the lefty home run rating, 28% above average for the park, and then Aaron Nola does serve up homers. So it's just the stars align a little bit more for him, and it's 400 ISO. That's so insane. But yeah. Chat. If you got anything else for me, twitter.com/gundeck, or any questions about onboarding MLB Grind hit me up, hit that thumbs up, leave a comment, interact with the video. Engagement helps a lot. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow night to break down the Sunday slate, which is a lot of day games usually, and that'll be fun. So good luck. God bless. Go win some money.